You check your phone. Nothing. You put it down. Pick it up again. Still nothing. You go over the last conversation in your head word by word, looking for clues. Did that mean something? Was that a sign? Or did you imagine it? You know this is irrational, you know it, and yet you can't stop. This isn't a teenage crush. You're a functioning adult. You have a job, responsibilities, a life. And somehow, one person has hijacked your entire operating system. You think you're in love. You're not. What's happening to you has a name, and once you hear it, you will never unsee it. It's called limerence, and it's running your brain like a drug. In 1979, a psychologist named Dorothy Tennov published a book called Love and Limerence. She'd spent over a decade interviewing hundreds of people about the experience of being in love, and what she found was that a significant number of them weren't describing love at all. They were describing something else entirely, something more desperate, more involuntary, more consuming. She called it limerence. Here's her definition, and this is where it clicks for most people. Limerence is not about the other person. It's about uncertainty, about not knowing if they want you back. Pause there. That's the shift. It's not that you love them deeply, it's that you don't know if they feel the same. And that not knowing is what's eating you alive. That's why limerence is almost always one-sided or at best unequal. Because the moment you know they're into you, something deflates. And the moment you know they're not, the spell eventually breaks. It's the ambiguity that feeds it. The maybe, the almost, the could be. A crush comes and goes. It's pleasant. It occupies maybe 10% of your mental bandwidth. Tennov's subjects reported intrusive thoughts about their person, what she called the limerentobject, for an average of 85% of their waking hours. 85%. That's not romance. That's an occupation. Let's go through the symptoms. Be honest with yourself. Intrusive thoughts, not just thinking about them, being ambushed. You're in the middle of something and your brain just cuts to them, without permission. Idealization. You see them as perfect. Their flaws disappear or become charming. You've built a version of them that probably doesn't exist. Mood tied to their signals. A text back, you're up. Silence, you're down. Your emotional state is outsourced. Physical response. Heart racing. Nausea. That drop in your chest when uncertainty spikes. This is physiology, compulsive checking and mental loops, replaying conversations, checking their profile, running scenarios in your head that feel real until reality snaps back. Meet Sarah. She's 28, works in marketing. By every measure, she has her life together. 6 weeks ago, she met someone at a friend's party. They talked for 3 hours. He texted her the next day. Then the text slowed down. Then they got unpredictable. Now she checks her phone before she gets out of bed. She's replayed their last conversation so many times, she's lost track of what was real and what she added later. She's looked at his Instagram story the moment it posted, then immediately felt ashamed for doing it. She hasn't told anyone, because how do you explain something that makes no sense? Sarah isn't naive. She isn't weak. She just doesn't have a name for what's happening to her. Yet, if you saw yourself in this, you're not alone. And this isn't random. It's a pattern. Here's where it starts to make sense. Your brain runs on a reward system driven by dopamine, not pleasure wanting, anticipation, the drive to seek. And dopamine fires hardest not when the reward arrives, but when it's unpredictable. That's why slot machines are addictive. If the reward were guaranteed, you'd lose interest. It's the uncertainty that hooks you. The person in limerence is your slot machine. Sometimes they're warm, sometimes distant, sometimes immediate, sometimes gone. Your brain doesn't see inconsistency. It sees a puzzle, and it locks in. You're not addicted to the person. You're addicted to the pattern. At the same time, serotonin, which regulates calm and rational thought, drops. That's why the thoughts feel intrusive and hard to shut off. And cortisol, your stress hormone, stays elevated. So you're in a loop of craving, stress, and repetition. This isn't weakness. This is chemistry. And once you see it, you can start to break it. So why them? Why not someone else? Because this pattern needs a very specific dynamic. Intermittent availability, hot and cold, Pull in, pull back. That unpredictability is what keeps the loop alive. In attachment terms, this often shows up as avoidant behavior. They move toward connection then away from it. And if you have any anxious tendencies, even mild ones, this combination locks in fast. Because when they pull away, your brain doesn't read it as they're unavailable. It reads it as try harder. Fix it. Figure it out. Think about Alex. He met her at a conference. Sharp, effortlessly composed. She laughed at something he said, and for a moment the whole room disappeared. They grabbed coffee twice. She was warm, present, fully there. Then she canceled the third time with a short text and a vague reason. He told himself it was fine. It wasn't fine. He's thought about her every day for 3 weeks. When she finally texted again, just a casual check-in, nothing significant, he felt a hit of relief so intense it scared him. Alex is not the kind of man who loses himself, except apparently he is. He just activated something that was already there. Something with a name. That loop, chasing clarity from someone who withholds it, is one of the most common traps in relationships. This isn't theory, you've lived this. And here's the key, this didn't start with them. They just activated it, which means it's not permanent, it's a pattern. And patterns can be changed, you don't wait this out. If you do nothing, this can last for years. So here's what you do. 1. Name it. Say it clearly. This is limerence. Not love, not fate. A pattern that alone brings your rational brain back online. 2. Remove the stimulus. Stop pulling the lever. Checking, rereading, searching, all of it feeds the loop. Distance isn't emotional, it's neurological. 3. Interrupt the fantasy. Those mental scenarios are not harmless, they're reinforcement. When they start, cut them off and redirect deliberately. 4. De-idealize. That version of them in your head isn't real. Bring them back to human scale. Write it down if you have to. 5. Redirect the drive. This energy needs somewhere to go. A goal, a project, something that builds your life. You don't remove the drive, you aim it. Limerence has existed forever. Every tragic love story is built on it. But it's not love. Love is built. This is a reaction. This didn't happen because they're special. It happened because your brain is powerful. And right now, it's pointed in the wrong direction. But that can change. Sarah figured it out, not overnight, but she stopped pulling the lever. She let the fantasy loop break. She pointed the energy somewhere else. Alex did too. It took longer than he expected. But the pattern passed. It always does. This is not who you are. It's a pattern, and patterns pass. If this hit, you already know. Now you have a name for it. That's where control begins. If you know someone's stuck in this, send it to them. Give them the language. I'm Brain Boom. See you next time.